It is fight day, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anybody that even watches this channel, yes, fight night is officially here. If you're in Abu Dhabi, it's fight night. If you're here in the United States, it's most likely going to be fight day. They are 9 hours ahead of us, but it is what it is. It's fight day. I'm hype. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this for a while, ever since UFC decided to be on their break, but mixed martial arts is officially back on mainstream. If you guys have ABC, it's going to be on ABC. If you guys are subscribed to ESPN Plus, such as myself, then get on ESPN Plus, watch the fights, enjoy your afternoon. Other than that, I'm going to talk about one of the fights on there on the prelims that is being slept on a little bit. I got this one circled from the first time I even saw it on the card itself. This is going to be Justin Tafa, who is 4-1, fighting out of Brisbane, Australia, versus the Brazilian fighting out of Brazil himself, Carlos Felipe, with a 9-1 record. Both these fighters still relatively new, still relatively green in their MMA careers, but both of these guys like to bring it. Both of these guys like to walk forward. Both of these guys like to bring the pressure no matter what. And Justin Tafa, being a quiet guy himself, is going to be fighting a guy named Carlos Felipe. He likes to talk the whole entire time he's in the octagon. He likes to get in his opponent's head when he's in the octagon, who really likes to create a lot of distractions. When you think about it, when you're talking smack, when you're talking all the crap to your opponent, you're trying to get them mad. You're trying to get them to expose different openings in their game so you can be able to exploit them yourself. Obviously, that didn't work with his UFC debut. When Carlos Felipe fought Sergey Spivak, obviously Sergey Spivak is another fighter such as Justin Tafa himself, who is very, very quiet. He doesn't really say anything. So when Carlos Felipe fought against Jordan Spivak, he lost the fight, and it brought out a different Sergey Spivak that we haven't really seen before. He was really mad. He was really animated after the fight. He wanted to fight Carlos a little bit more. Obviously, he lost that fight via majority draw. So the smack, all the crap talk, all that didn't work against Sergey Spivak, who happens to be a very well-rounded heavyweight. The reason why he lost that fight is because he found himself on his back a good amount of the time during the fight. Now, fast forward to his fight against Yorgan De Castro. Yorgan De Castro happened to be the one to knock out Justin Tafa during his UFC debut in front of over 60,000 plus fans in Marvel Stadium in Sydney, Australia, which happened to be extremely embarrassing for the guy. Other than that, he was able to rebound and KO Juan Adams. He KO'd Juan Adams. I believe this happened in Houston last February, during the Jonathan Reyes versus John Jones card. But it was a KO victory in the first round that sealed the deal for Justin Tafa. So both these guys have similar opponents that they fought in the past. That similar opponent happened to be Yorgan De Castro. Justin Tafa, as I just noted too, got knocked out in the first round in front of 60,000 fans in Australia. Wow, Carlos Felipe was able to work all the trash talk, really get under the skin of Yorgan De Castro and win that fight. But the thing about that fight with Yorgan and Carlos is that Carlos was against the fence of the octagon a lot of the fight. For the majority of the fight, he got lucky that he had a referee there in Abu Dhabi, because the fight took place in Abu Dhabi itself. It took place in flash form. The referee was very impatient, so every single time they went against the fence of the octagon, he split them up as fast as possible. They reset. Carlos was able to get some good shots in there, and Yorgan wasn't really able to display his best game plan on there, which gave Carlos the victory. Obviously, since both these guys have similar opponents, one lost to Yorgan, the other one won against Yorgan. One happens to be a very quiet opponent, one happens to be a very loud and brash opponent. Who's going to win this? I thought there would have been a little bit of mischief going on during the weigh-ins yesterday, but obviously both fighters were respectful to one another. Carlos shaking the hand of Justin Tafa, which was pretty surprising because he has refused to shake the hands of his previous last two opponents. So obviously a little bit more relaxed Carlos Felipe, a little bit more of a respectful Carlos Felipe. So I'm going to like to see what happens during this fight. Justin Tafa is a silent killer. He likes to rush in there. He likes to try to get the knockout as fast as possible. His boxing is pretty crisp. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He's got some really nice leg kicks as well. Don't sleep on his leg kicks just because he's a pretty good boxer and has powers in both of his hands. When he hits you with those calf kicks, you're definitely going to feel it in those calves no matter what. Carlos Felipe also likes to move forward. So when you got two fighters like this who like to move forward, two fighters who don't like to back down, it's going to be a fist fight. It's going to be the rock'em sock'em robots that we all like to kind of have those analogies about when it comes to certain fighters in the UFC. But since these guys like to go forward, I don't think it's going to be on the ground that much. But if I were Justin Tafa, I'd try to get it to the ground because that's where Carlos Felipe has his, where his game isn't really molded, where it isn't really crafted as much as it is on his feet. In order to do that, you got to soften him up a little bit with the leg kicks. You got to definitely feint with the takedowns. You got to make him guess the whole entire time. Hit him with some calf kicks. Hit him with some quad kicks. Even hit him with some body kicks as well, because Justin Tafa is a very powerful guy. If he hits you, you're definitely going to feel it. If he hits you, you're definitely going to have some marking, some swelling right off the spot, and wherever kind of body part that he decides to hit you at. If I'm Carlos Felipe, pressure, pressure, pressure. Make Justin Tafa try to charge in there to knock you out and try to sneak in a sneaky hook, which basically happened against his fight against Jorgen De Castro. Justin Tafa became too careless. He charged in there trying to knock him out, swinging both his arms like this, and he ended up getting caught with a hook flush to his chin, which knocked him out. It was lights out. He was out for a little bit of a while. Because of that, he learned from mistakes and knocked out Juan Adams in his next fight. But he can't do that against Carlos Felipe. Carlos Felipe is a man that packs a lot of weight himself. And Carlos Felipe isn't a stranger when it comes to firefights. So this is definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I don't think this is going to end in a finish. I think that Justin Tafa is going to win this fight. I think Carlos is going to try to get in his head early in the game. Justin Tafa is like I said, he's a quiet guy. I believe he has a mind of steel. You can say anything to him. You're really not going to get underneath his skin because he's kind of been in there with a couple of other guys that are the same caliber of Carlos Felipe in different organizations over there in the Oceania region of the world. Carlos Felipe, he's fighting out of American top team. He's obviously got the best of the best coaches out there, but don't sleep on Justin Tafa. Carlos Felipe, his keys to victory would definitely have to be trying to keep it on the feet a little bit of the time and also trying to go to the ground. I believe whoever goes to the ground first whoever gets their opponent down on the ground first is definitely going to win the fight because both these guys aren't really that strong on the ground. And if you can get any of them on the ground, you can keep them there for a while and also do a good amount of damage since these guys like to put on a lot of damage on their opponents. But that's pretty much all I got to say about this fight. I think it's going to be a very good fight. This definitely is a main card quality fight, but it happened to be on the prelims because of all the other fights that we have that are stacked up on top of one another on that main card. But this is a good fight on the prelims. I circled it in when I saw it for the first time. I think it's going to be a banger, and I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. Whether it be a finish, there's a possibility, but I do believe this fight is going to go the distance. Power, power, power is what I'm going to emphasize during this whole entire fight. Whoever gets on that chin first, whoever targets the chin and lands on it nice and flush is most likely going to sleep. That's most likely going to be Justin Tafa because he's most likely going to be the aggressor during the fight. But Felipe, he's going to talk his game. He's going to try to fluster Justin Tafa. He's going to try to exploit some openings that are going to be there. And I believe that they will be there because Justin Tafa is still green to the sport of mixed martial arts. He only has a 4-1 record versus a 9-1 record. 10 fights versus just 5 fights in total. Felipe has basically half more fights than Justin Tafa does. So, like I said, experience is definitely going to come through. I believe that Justin Tafa is going to win by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos Felipe decided to use his experience, use his knowledge of the sport of mixed martial arts. He happens to be from Brazil, so obviously the Brazilians are killers, man. You can never count them out no matter what, but I'm going with Justin Tafa. It's going to be an interesting fight. It can go either way because it's going to be that close of a fight. And I appreciate you guys for watching this. I hope you guys enjoy the fights tonight. not tonight, but today, this afternoon. I hope you guys enjoy the fights this afternoon. If you guys are all the way up there in Abu Dhabi, all the way up there in the other side of the world, I hope you guys enjoy this fight during your night. Appreciate it, guys. Take it easy. Stay blessed. Stay safe. Later.